Hey everybody, my name is Deja and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting a reading vlog. So this reading vlog is mostly me going to be reading horror adjacent things for the readathon Haileyween, hosted by my friend Haley Hughes. You guys know her. I visited her back in the end of July and I absolutely love and adore her. So of course I'm going to be participating in her readathon, and I thought this would be a great time to vlog as well, where I will just be reading mostly horror for the week. So I'm going to quickly go over my TBR. If you have not seen my TBR video, I have it on my phone, so I'm pulling it up. So there's 5 prompts, and she did say that you don't have to do the prompts, but of course I'm a prompt girl, so I'm gonna do the prompts. But I've been able to lower it down to 3 books. So for queer author, I want to read Transmuted by Eve Harms. This is one of the books in the Rewind or Die series, which is the same series as Cirque Berserk, and I love Cirque Berserk, but this one is a much shorter, and all of the books are by different authors. Sometimes it doesn't even say that they're in a series, but they are technically. And so this one is around like 60 or 70 pages, so it's super short, and I think maybe they went to go get gender affirming surgery and they instead came out mutilated, which is why it says transmuted, I think, but I'm not sure. I'll read it and let you guys know. And then for BIPOC author, read and watch an adaptation, and horror classic, I'm reading Audition, and this is a pretty short book that I've actually already started, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I don't know if it's technically like a classic, but I know that the movie is considered a classic, so I'm gonna need to watch the movie as well this week for watch an adaptation. But I was going to see Dark Harvest earlier last week because it was in Alamo Drafthouse for one night, but something came up so I couldn't go. And so I know they're watching it this week, but at that time I have a club meeting, so I might watch that as well this week. But I have a lot going on, which I'll also talk about. And then for Takes Place on Halloween, I have Autumn Crow by Cameron Chaney, which is a short story collection about this place called Autumn Crow, and every single day there is Halloween. I've been really struggling to have time to sit down and read Kindle books, because a lot of the books on my TBR this month are on Kindle and they don't have audiobooks, but I have so much going on. October is always my most busy month, and this year is no exception. I have so much going on. This week alone I have 2 tests, one right after I film this video. It's about to be 12, it's 11:55, and my test is at 1, so I have to leave in like 20 minutes. And so I have a test today, I have a test on Thursday, and they're all like in-person tests. So yeah, I have some classes that don't have tests or that the tests are online, but the 2 tests I have this week are both in person and like no notes, no nothing really for the most part. So like I have to like study and practice. And then I also have a project presentation this week, which we've mostly finished for the most part. And then I'm going to the fair on Friday. It's my sister's surprise birthday party on Saturday. And then next week I have a midterm and I have another presentation which I haven't started yet, as well as doing other readings for other classes because the readings are starting to pick up again this week. So there's a lot going on, and I need to work on my RA bulletin board by Saturday. So there's a lot, and I'm doing reading sprints with Haley like I think Thursday and Sunday. So there's a lot going on. As I said, I have like club meetings tonight. I have a meeting with my RA group. We have like a group RA meeting, all of us, and then I also have a meeting with a potential new therapist today. I'm on duty tomorrow. Like this, there's something every single day this week. Multiple things some days. So yeah, but I'm hoping I can get through it. I'm almost 50% of the way done with Audition, which I had no idea really what it was about, besides I know that it had an audition and that it's horror. So in it we follow a man, and his wife has recently passed away, or not recently, but like recently enough, like the past couple years she passed away, and everybody around him is like, oh, you should get remarried, like it's time, like they're all suggesting for him to get remarried. And one of his friends is like, we should hold an audition, but obviously we can't just hold an audition for like someone being your wife, but we should hold one. So they create like this idea to make a movie, and they're actually going to try and go through with the movie, but most movies actually don't make it through. So they don't really think that they're gonna be making a movie, but they're prepared to do it so it doesn't seem like they're lying. And they come up with this whole scheme to get women to audition, and one woman catches his eye, and there has been quite a bit of misogyny in this book, but I cannot tell if it's supposed to be commentary or if it's like the author unintentionally adding that in there, because like some of the things that they're talking about with women, like for example, he's like, if a woman wants to be an actress, then something about her must be wrong. Like it has to be wrong. Like, it's just like little things like that I'm like, I can't tell if this is supposed to be commentary or if the author unintentionally wrote that in there. So I can't tell yet, but I'm like 40 something percent of the way done. It's a super quick audiobook. It's less than 5 hours, so that means that it will take me like around an hour and a half, and I've already listened to, as I said, like 43%, almost 50% of it while I was getting ready and doing some work for my remote job this morning. So once I finish that audiobook, I'm gonna need another one, and so then I'm gonna be continuing on with It Came From the Closet, and this is 25 contemporary queer and trans writers reflect on the horror films that shaped them and shook them. I have read the first section. It's divided into a couple of different subsections of like the type of movies that they're talking about. There's 5 sections, and I've read the first one, so I am about 68 pages in, and this one is not on my official TBR, but you know, if I can add on more books, I will, and that one is on my TBR for the month in general. So I'm going to be continuing with this audiobook when I finish Audition, which will probably be today, but I don't really have any thoughts on it yet, except that I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of a strange concept. It's really misogynistic, but I think it's going to take like a turn. I think it's going to take a turn for sure, because he's like, little did I know the horror that was going to come. So like, I'm like, I feel like this woman has a lot of like stuff going on with her that we don't know, that he's not seeing. So I'm excited to see what is up with her. But yeah, so I'm gonna continue on with that. I don't know what like rating I'm around. I really feel like, even though I'm almost 50% of the way done, it's so short, I feel like I haven't read enough of it to be able to give like an accurate depiction of what I think I'm even gonna rate it. So I have no idea, but that'll knock off 3 prompts in one book, so that's phenomenal. And yeah, so I'm gonna go and study for a couple more minutes before I have to head out to go take my test. Wish me luck. So honestly, the first test we were supposed to take in class, but we got to take it at home because like we had some internet issues, and so we got to take it at home, and it was honestly a lot more difficult than I anticipated it being. I didn't think it was going to be that hard, which is unusual. I feel like I'm pretty good at pinpointing like the difficulty of tests, but that it surprised me. So I've been trying to study, but I feel like there's so much that I don't know, because the topics that we were learning this time are just like honestly more difficult. And I feel like he definitely pulls like little tiny pieces of like the textbook to like make into questions, and I'm like, I don't know how you expect me to know like this tiny bit of information. Like I feel like I'm really good at memorizing general concepts and like using that general concept logic to understand what we're talking about, but it's not even like general concepts. It's like very niche, minute details that he pulls from, and I'm like, I can't. We literally read 3 huge chapters, and we had 2 guest lectures, and the things that he says in the lectures are mostly in the textbook but not all, so like we have to pay attention to all of that, and I'm like, okay, I'm overwhelmed. But yeah, so I'm gonna go study, and this intro is already 10 minutes long. Hi guys, so I actually haven't updated you at all yesterday. I ended up finishing Audition yesterday. Sorry, my computer is there. I'm currently exporting a video project for school. Yesterday was just very busy. I had a lot of stuff going on. On Monday night, I don't think I told y'all because I only talked to y'all once, I went on to Haley's sprints Monday night, and me, Haley, and Aspen ended up staying up till 5:30 my time, and I went to sleep at like 6, woke up at 10 to go to class yesterday, and then I had all this stuff, and then last night I didn't go to sleep again until 4, and then woke up at 9. So yeah, I'm very tired, and I have a test tomorrow. But once that test is done, and this project, we're presenting it tomorrow, once that stuff is done, things will be much better. I do have work I need to do this weekend because I kind of got behind on stuff this past week because of all of this school stuff. I had 2 tests this week and this huge project, so I kind of got behind on like readings and stuff like that. Yeah, but I know for sure I'll be able to listen to audiobooks. So yeah, but as I said, I finished Audition, and so Audition I ended up giving 2 stars. I didn't like it really. I think it was okay. it just was very boring for me. Like I was bored the entire time. And honestly, this had a lot of misogyny in it, and I think it was supposed to be commentary, but I personally just don't like how it was done. Like I think it was supposed to be commentary, but just the way the author went about it, it wasn't reading as commentary, it was reading as misogyny to me. But that's me, in my opinion. I just overall was very bored with this story. The ending was okay. I didn't hate it, but it also didn't like completely redeem the book for me. It's somewhere between like a 2 and a 3, but I'm just gonna give it a 2 because I disliked it more than I liked it. So I feel like that's a 2-star. So that's kind of unfortunate, but as I said, I finished up that audiobook. So I will be continuing on with It Came From the Closet as my next audiobook. I didn't really listen to the audiobook today at all. I've mostly listened to music because I was having like kind of a stressful day, so I needed the music to like mellow me out. But that one's gonna be next. And I think next up, I'm actually going to read Transmuted as an ebook because it's only like 70-ish pages. I can't believe tomorrow's already Thursday, and I can't believe it's literally the 19th of the month. The last full week of October is literally next week. I'm gagged. Like I'm gagged and gooped, okay? I'm just shook. If y'all can't tell, I'm really just like not here. So I'm gonna go take a shower and I'm gonna get into this bed and I'm gonna go to sleep, and I might read a little bit of Transmuted before I go to bed, but we don't know. Okay, look at me. I look exhausted. And everything in there was really expensive, even for the farmers market. I gave my dad literally a haul on FaceTime. Well, it's actually Google Duo because I'm the only person in my family that has an iPhone, so we use Google Duo. I got some things. I didn't get like any like produce or anything like that because I know it sounds bad, but like I'm like, okay, I could just like get that at the store, and I know it's not like the same quality, but it's like 4 times cheaper. So I generally get things at the farmers market that I can't really get other places, or like it's not as good. Like for example, apple cider, like fresh apple cider. I got this from one place, as well as this apple butter. Oh, the label got a little wet, but these are both from Perry Low Orchard, if you're curious. I've had this before, and I think I've had their apple butter, and it's really good. This was $8 and this was $6, I believe. So at that one place I spent like almost $15, $14. And then from Walker Farms, which I've also got stuff from them before, I think actually I've had the Walker Farms apple butter, which was good, but I tried this one this time, and I just got bread and butter pickles because I used to not be a pickle girl, but now I'm a pickle girl. So I'm trying, like, I was like, okay, I feel like the homemade pickles might be better. These are from Ya's Best, and I got spinach dip and I got honey mustard because I've been wanting to get honey mustard, but I haven't really seen that many in the grocery store. It's mostly like Dijon mustard or yellow mustard. And the last things I got, I don't know what the place was called, but I got pumpkin. So I got this one, which is like, oh, one of them dropped. It's like a lighter orange. It's not a traditional orange pumpkin color, but I really liked it. And then the other one that fell, if I could get it, I just got this mini little pumpkin. So that's what I got from the farmers market. I had such a good time in there. Hey guys, it's actually another day. I didn't update y'all yesterday because there wasn't much to update on. I was mostly listening to It Came From the Closet. I had a test yesterday and a presentation, and then I was working on my bulletin board during sprints with Haley, and I was just really busy. So I was mostly listening to my audiobook, and then today it is now Friday. I'm going to the fair with my boyfriend. I'm really excited. The fit is cute. I'm wearing this little ghosty cardigan with these cute little sleeves. Yep, it's cute. I'm living, okay, like it's eating. So we're going to the North Carolina State Fair, which is huge. I'm gonna try and get some B-roll for y'all because it's amazing. It's such an amazing experience. Oh shoot, I should really plug in my phone. She's on 74. Okay, so the North Carolina State Fair is just amazing, but I did end up finishing It Came From the Closet when I was getting ready and doing stuff like that, and I had to go to like the bank to get cash for food, because that's our main thing. We're gonna eat and we're gonna go on the Ferris wheel, so that's what we're doing. But I don't think I really explained this that much, but it is just an anthology. It's non-fiction about queer and trans writers reflecting on horror films that shaped them and shook them. That's what it says on the back. And I think I'm not rating non-fiction this year, but I really enjoyed this. My favorite stories I was gonna tell y'all are Both Ways by Carmen Maria Machado, which is Jennifer's Body. I really liked Imprint by Joe Velassi, which was about the movie Grace. I also really enjoyed The Three Men on a Boat by Jen Corrigan, which is about Jaws. I really enjoyed Twin/Skin by Addie, I don't want to butcher that last name, which is about dead ringers. I really enjoyed Centered and Seen by Samiko Salson, which is Candyman. And I really liked The Trail of His Flames by Tucker Liberman, which is A Nightmare on Elm Street. I really liked Black Body Snatchers by Samuel Autumn, which is about Get Out. And then I really liked Long Nights in the Dark by Richard Scott Larson, which is about Halloween. Good Guys Dolls by Will Stockton, which was about Child's Play, is also really good. So those are about my top like 9 or 10 from the 25, if you were curious. I really did enjoy it. If I was rating it, I'd probably give it 5 stars because it really, for a nonfiction, it really made me think. I haven't really read many anthologies, especially not nonfiction ones, so I really had such a good time reading this, and it really opened me up to a lot of queer experiences that are not my own, even though I try to be very aware of people and their experiences and try to be empathetic to everybody, specifically as someone who focuses on sociological problems and psychological problems as a literal academic field. My 2 academic fields that I'm in focus on issues, and I feel like it's really important to address everything and intersectionality, so I really loved that. This had a lot of POC authors in it, and it just had a lot of intersectionality woven into it as well, which I really enjoyed. And then a lot of them told their stories in very different ways, which I really enjoyed. Some of them like actually like made the story from their own perspective and like interspliced their own thoughts and their own life throughout it, and some people just kind of summarized parts of the movie and then connected their own life to it and their own experiences. So it's really interesting to see how each different author connected the movie to their own life. So I really enjoyed it, really had a great time. My boyfriend, he's almost here to pick me up, so I'm gonna go. And I am also going to be reading Transmuted. I said I was going to read that, but now I have Saturday and Sunday, which I do have stuff to do, but I'm hoping that I could still read Transmuted and Autumn Crow over the next 2 days. So yeah, I will talk to y'all probably tomorrow. Hi guys, I have not talked to you all day. I have a fake tattoo on my neck and my hand, which I'll tell you about. But I basically, as you guys know, went to the fair yesterday. You guys saw it. And then today I had my sister's birthday party. It was funeral themed because she's turning 30, so it's like death of her 20s. So that was really fun as well. I got to see my family, hang out with them. We had food, it was great. And then I worked on my bulletin board for the rest of the night. It's now 12. But I had a great time at the fair yesterday with my boyfriend. It was so fun, and we got rained on at the end, but it was still really fun. And then we came back, and we were supposed to watch movies all night. We didn't even finish one movie because we fell asleep at like 10:30, and then we woke up at 8:30, and I literally hung out with him, made food, ate, and then left to go see my sister. But I've been really tired today, even though I slept like 10 hours and I had a whole energy drink in like 30 minutes and I was still tired. I think it's because I started a new like mood stabilizer slash antidepressant. I know some people have been talking about that, like I talk about my mental health, which is like not bad. Like I'm really happy and glad if y'all can resonate with me talking about my mental health. So I thought I would be open about it because I have bipolar 2 and I've been heavily depressed from the seasonal change and I have ADHD. So if you wanted to know, now you know. And I'm now medicated for ADHD and depression slash my mood disorder. And then I just got a new therapist, so I'm in therapy too. So go to therapy, guys, please. It will do you wonders. Enough about that. Let's talk about the books. I finished Transmuted today. I finished and started it today, and I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars. And so Transmuted is basically about this trans woman who wants to go through facial feminization surgery, and she has already had like some other procedures and hormones done, but this like the thing that she thinks is really going to like really get rid of her like body dysmorphia. So that's what she wants. She's been saving up for it. She's actually a streamer and streams games, and so she has been raising a lot of money through that to try and pay for this surgery. And she's got like the last little bit. She didn't even go to her normal job for a couple days because she was like doing some intense streaming to try and raise money. And then her sister calls her up like, hey, like dad has stage 4 cancer. We knew he had stage 3, but it's actually progressed now to stage 4. And I know that he doesn't really recognize your gender identity and all of that, but I know you raised all that money, and like there's this experimental procedure or treatment that could potentially cure him. And so she ends up giving the money to him, even though he dead names her and uses her wrong pronouns and is not very accepting of her at all. She still gives away her money and is like, okay, well now I'm like so dysmorphic, like it's terrible. But she finds this other experimental procedure in like a newspaper looking for trans women, and it's supposed to be non-invasive, non-surgical, but it's supposed to transform them. And maybe not everything is what it seems, and maybe this procedure is not necessarily being done for the correct reasons, and maybe it's not going to go exactly the way that she hoped. I really enjoyed its discussions around body dysmorphia and the fetishization of trans people. I thought it was really interesting and I enjoyed that representation, but with the direction that it went into, I just wasn't a big fan of like that horror element, and just like the direction that it was in just wasn't really for me necessarily. But I appreciate the representation and I definitely enjoyed that. It's only like 70 pages, so there's not much to talk about, but I think the representation is really good. It just wasn't my necessarily favorite kind of horror. And then I started the audiobook today of Monstrilio as well. It's not on my TBR, but I needed another audiobook, and I'm 16% into this one, and I'm really enjoying this one a lot. I definitely think this one's going to be a new favorite. It is about this woman, we're following her mostly, and her husband had a kid who was like younger, like 11, 12-ish, and he was born with only 1 lung, and so nobody thought that he was going to survive, but he ends up surviving quite a bit, but he does die at the start of this book, and the woman ends up taking a piece of his lung just from his body and keeping it. This heavily has Mexican culture woven into it, and it has talked about in Mexican culture how a lot of people will take little things of people's bodies, and sometimes they like rot or things like that, but some people take like hair or teeth or stuff like that so it doesn't rot, which I did not know was a thing. And then also someone else has talked about feeding it, and so I don't know if that's like part of Mexican culture or if it's just part of this book, but they do talk about feeding it. So she does end up feeding the lung, and now it's starting to turn into like this other creature, and I know it's going to like develop even more than that, but it's all that I've gotten to so far. And our main character, she actually went home to Mexico to spend time with her mom after her son's death, because I think they used to live in Mexico, but now they moved out, but her husband did not come with her. So it's really good so far. I really like the writing and grief. The grief in this is so phenomenal, and I'm just having that sounds bad, having a really good time reading it, but like I've been really anticipating this book. I've been really wanting to read it, so yeah, I'm having a good time reading this book. So next up, I'm going to be reading Autumn Crow. I'm going to start it tonight after I take a shower. It's not an anthology, it's by one author, but I think it's like a short story collection where they all take place in this one town where it's fall every single day. So yeah, this is honestly the first book I'm kind of shocked this whole month that I've read that's not queer or by a black author or an author of color. So I've been doing a really good job at prioritizing queer authors and BIPOC authors, so I'm really happy about that. So this is going to be like the first book that I'm reading by like a cis, straight, white man. But it's by Cameron Chaney, who is another booktuber. Well, okay, honestly, I don't know if Cameron Chaney is gay or not, but I don't think he is. So I'm not trying to assume anybody's sexuality or gender identity, but as far as I know, I don't think that he fits within the LGBTQ plus community. But yeah, so I'm going to do that, and I don't think I'm going to finish Monstrilio by the end of the readathon, but I definitely want to get through Autumn Crow because it is for this readathon, but also for my spinner wheel TBR. It's for my punishment, so I definitely want to get through that. This one's not on any TBR, I just needed an audiobook. So yeah, I'm going to hop in the shower and get in this bed because I'm exhausted. Okay, so it is the day after Haileyween, and I did finish Autumn Crow yesterday. I started and finished it yesterday for the readathon, and I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. It was really fun. It was just like a spooky, kind of cozy short story collection that takes place in this town called Autumn Crow, where basically every single day is Halloween, and there was some really amazing short stories in there. I think there's one that's called like Burnt Brownies or something. It's about a fire, if you've read it, and that was like definitely my favorite story out of all of them. I loved that one, and I gave 4.5. Haley asked me like why not 5, and like I don't have a reason for not giving it 5 stars, but I'm trying to save like 5 stars for like all-time favorites, and maybe I'll go back and raise it to a 5-star because I've had this like this year where I've given things 4.5 and then I consider them an all-time favorite and I bump them up to a 5, but I don't see this being an all-time favorite. I just really liked it a lot, and I would highly recommend it, and it was still like a standout for the year, but not like all-time favorite. But it was so cute, so cozy, so spooky. Loved it. So I thought we could wrap up what I read for the readathon. Let me actually pull up the prompts because I don't have the prompts right in front of my face as we're speaking. So for a horror classic, read and watch an adaptation, which I did not ever watch the adaptation, but we're just gonna count it anyways. And for a BIPOC author, I read Audition by Ryu Murakami, I think is how you say it, and this one I ended up giving 2 stars. It was just really boring to me, and the characters were flat, and I feel like it had a lot of misogyny in it, which I feel like people can argue that it was supposed to be like commentary on misogyny, but I didn't get that, but I could see how people could misinterpret it as that. But yeah, so 2 stars. And then the next book that I read was actually not part of the prompts. I guess it could count for queer author, but I read It Came From the Closet. This was one that I started previous to the readathon, but I finished most of it during the readathon. This is another kind of anthology of 25 contemporary queer and trans writers reflecting on the horror films that shaped and shook them, and this one I really liked. I went over my favorite stories earlier, but there were some really good ones in here. Not stories, but like favorite essays, I guess you could call them. And this one is one that I did not rate because I'm not rating nonfiction this year, but it's definitely one that I've been thinking about every single day since I've finished it. And then next, to complete the queer author prompt, actually, I read Transmuted by Eve Harms. This one was from KQ, and I ended up giving it 3 stars. I really liked the commentary on body dysmorphia and just like more trans representation in horror, but it just went into a direction for the horror that I didn't necessarily enjoy. And then the last thing that I read was Autumn Crow, which takes place on Halloween, and as I said, I just talked about this one, giving it 4.5 stars. This is definitely one of the wins from this readathon. I feel like It Came From the Closet and Autumn Crow are like 2 very big wins for the readathon, and Transmuted and Audition are kind of ones that I was disappointed by, but that's okay. Overall, I would call the readathon a success. And I also started the audiobook for Monstrilio. I am probably about a 4th of the way into that one, and I'm really liking that one a lot, and I think it's going to be a favorite of the year so far. That's all that I have for this video today. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you made it to the end, and leave the little like 2 girl emojis down below, because Haley and we locked in for real, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye everybody.